This is all day long. Get kittens, they said. It would be fun, they said. This is our journey. Welcome to the Betancourt's homestead. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Tabitha, and this is the Betancourt's homestead, where we talk about all kinds of things homestead related. And we just finished a 3-part series on what it was like being a kid growing up during World War II. And we made a couple comments during that video in regards to 2 books, Make, Do, and Mend and Eating for Victory. What were these? I wanted to go in a little bit in depth on them and let you know exactly what they were. I find them extremely interesting. These were written for people in England. They were on steep rations. In fact, I find it very interesting that one of the first things that they ran out of was onions. And since they were an island, they couldn't just pop them out of thin air. So in order to help people make their food go the longest and make without things, they started releasing little pamphlets. Now this is a compilation of the pamphlets, but they would be Foods for Fitness was this one, and they'd be little 4 sheets, 4 double-sided pieces of paper, and they would come to you and they would be little pamphlets. They would also have little places where people in the community could gather together and learn things. So then we have another pamphlet that's Cooking for One for people that are just single, and how to use things. They were on heavy rations in England. I mean, when you're an island and you're in the middle of a war and you're not sure when you're going to get things and you have an island full of people, you have to figure out how to really conserve your food. So I found this very interesting, and some of these recipes I really do want to try. They're about 4 to 6 pages. Here's one, Making the Most of Sugar. That one would be interesting, wouldn't it? How to substitute things, what to substitute for certain dishes. Making mock fried eggs. So that's what this one, Eating for Victory, that was the main focus on this one. And there's about 40 reproductions of the official Second World War instruction leaflets. Could you imagine? Could you imagine not knowing how to do this? And then Making, Do, and Mend, and this is Keeping Family and Home Afloat on War Rations. Because remember, we talked about things were rationed, even here in the United States. That actually surprised me. I didn't realize that we were so heavily rationed that you literally had one stamp was a pair of shoes. So these are also reproductions. And this is one that I'm actually finding very interesting. How to wash your woolens. How to save fuel for battle. Room heating, how to heat your room without using electricity or the gas heaters that they would have had. Clothing coupon quizzes. These are all little pamphlets, a compilation of pamphlets that were sent to them. Also, what I find really interesting, how many coupons needed for principal articles of adults and children clothing. Like seriously, how many coupons did you need? Well, for the fun of it, let's find out. I mean, I wonder how many coupons you got. Overcoat and a raincoat, if unlined or saddle-lined and not woolen, leather, fur, or double texture. For a man, you would need 9 coupons, and for a woman, you would need 9, and for a child, you would need 7. Seriously? They actually have instructions on how to darn holes. So like, you know, when you get a hole in your knees, now it's fashion. But back then, it wasn't fashion. They actually showed you how to repair a torn buttonhole, how to repair a hole in a sweater or a pair of slacks, and how to darn a stocking ladder. I have actually done this. I've taught myself a lot of these things over the time. How to join a lock knit seam. Now for some of us, those of us that knit, this was a very interesting leaflet that they would have gotten. Saving fuel, ways to save electricity and fuel by using alternate means. How to reinforce clothing for extra wear, okay? This one was interesting. So they would take clothing that was, like, did you ever wonder when you saw a movie and the kids had a different colored bottom on them? No, we don't go up there. This is Henry. Henry says hello. They actually teach you how to do that. And why they do that was to reinforce the clothing, to make it last longer. You want to be on TV too? Say hello. Yes, okay. So, and then they would have how to look after your woolens, how to make slippers. There's patterns for how to make slippers. They even have a whole pamphlet on how to make a dress one size up. So if I wanted to take a dress and I grew, like my daughter grew and she was 2 sizes bigger, it would show me how to take that dress off, take the seams, insert another piece of clothing in between it, and make it look cute, which my daughter would never wear, ever in the history of this world would she wear that. She might during this time, right? And how to take parts of a suit and use them in other pieces of clothing to make those clothings last longer. This was a day and age that you and I in this world right here, we have absolutely no clue what it was like to live through. But it's also one that I think is fascinating. They literally did without so that you and I sitting here could have what we have. So hats off to them. These people in the older generation in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, they lived a life that you and I can't understand. And for that, I am absolutely grateful. And I don't take that lightly at all. But for you and I think there might come a time that we might need to know this. And I, for the last 12 years, have found it very interesting watching and reading and trying and perfecting the things in these books. So I'm going to put a link to these books, an Amazon link to these books, down below in the description of the video. If you want to hop on and grab yourself your own copy just to see what it was like. I'm getting them mostly for as used books, but it's absolutely interesting pieces of history to know that people in England actually had these delivered to them and they learned skills that helped them stay afloat during wartime. So where do we go from here? 2019, I tore the garden apart so that we could build this house. 2020, I did the interior of the house and built the furniture. 2021, I redid the cottage studio down there. So what am I going to do in 2022? I'm going to redo the garden. That means massive guilds, major moving of things, tearing some stuff out, building some stuff in, and making it so that it works well for me. This is the permanent homestead now, and you get the ground floor entrance of actually watching it being built. Back from the ground, back up. So I'm going to be going through some of the old prior videos and putting those up for you, but in the future you're going to be seeing me figuring things out from these books, or making things last a little bit longer here. I'll be redoing maybe suitcases, or figuring out how to make a salve or homemade soap or something, or stretching $1 to be $5. That's very common for us in this household. I want to start showing you ways that I save money, ways that I get plants for free, ways that I propagate, I graft plants, I find them in strange places. I swap with friends. I put out a call for anybody want this and able to trade for this. And ways that I cut costs on money and grocery bills and finding ways of making things differently so that they're a better quality but yet cheaper. And how to make my own face lotions and dish soaps and hand soaps that are actually such better quality than the stuff you buy in the store, without all of the chemicals too. So that's where we're going to be going along the way. With that said, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and smash the notification bell. We've got some great things coming. You're going to be attacked by a cat right now. Charlie is my tech kitty. Where was I? Expenses. Let's not do that. Along the clothesline. There you go. Good boy. Good boy. That's a good boy right there. No. No. You make life really hard right now. Did you hear that? My cat is using the litter box right over there. Yes, because it's a... Charlie boy. That's a doozy. Get kittens, they said. It will be fun, they said.